Hello everyone, welcome to Bloggers on Web. Now here in the data engineering DP203, we will discuss the topic. Basically, it is the processing big data with the data lake solutions. So how we will process the big data using the data lake solutions. Okay, so let get started on this topic. Now, when you we say that the processing the big data, then what does it means? Okay, so we're talking about it's primarily a landing zone for the big data operations. Means this is a zone, a landing zone. What I'm saying is it's a landing zone for the big data operations and for the analysis that to take place. So it is basically a zone, a landing zone of the data for the operations and analysis that has to be take place. So all the architectures on this platform in the big data solutions follows the four principles in terms of processing stages, means how we will process the big data. So they are the four principles. I will going to discuss on that four principles. So this is a very important topic for how we process the uh, big data. So just let's check on this. Now, when we talking about the four principles, the first principle, first steps, you can say it is the ingesting of the data. So what is the ingesting of data? It is basically the process of acquiring it from the source data in the big data architectures that may come from the sensor, the application logs, various type of the generated files, are there the multitude of the other sources. So when talking about the ingesting data, it means you are getting your source data from the different sources. The sources I just uh, tell you what are the sources. Maybe it will be the sensor, it will be the application logs, it will be the generated files, or any type of the multitude of the sources can be. Okay, so now the second we can say is the data that is ingested from the multiple sources require a centrally accessible storage platform. Means we need a platform where we can store the data which is coming from the multiple sources that we are ingesting from the different sources, that should be centralized to an accessible storage platform. What I'm saying is the centralized accessible storage platform. So the data lake offers a storage capabilities for the mixed data types from the various sources. So this data lake solutions contains the capabilities of storing the mixed data types. Means the data can be any type. It will be structured, unstructured, any type of the data, and can be stored from they're coming from the different sources. So they can be stored in the data lake solutions. Okay, now the third will be the data preparation. Means when we store data centrally which is coming from the different sources, then what we need, they are the raw data. We need to prepare the data in an usable form. So that is known as the data preparation. So the data preparation is basically a process of removing the bad data. What we just need to remove the bad data. We need to uh, read the usable data from that source data that we have stored. Okay, so That is basically known as the process of data preparation. That what we are just removing the bad data. So the transforming the data to a usable state and pulling some sample into the usable blocks. We can say we just what exactly we are just transforming the data in a usable state. That is known as the data preparations. Okay, so at the can so we what we can say, this is also a stage where the we just develop a training models for the data science and for different effort that should be take place. So for this third step, for the data preparation, you just remember what we do. We just remove the bad data that we stored in our data lake solution. Now, the fourth principle will be the purpose for the data analysis. Means when we remove the bad data from the data that we have stored in the data preparation stage. So what now the data is in a usable form. Okay, so when the data is a usable form, so that data can be used for the analysis solution. So what exactly when talking about the data analysis solution is to determine the answer to the question that is posed by the business. When the business asks some answers about based upon the data, then we have an answer based upon the data that we have, because we just remove the bad data from that data source and just we have a usable form of data. So based upon that usable form of data, we can give the answer to the business for the analysis, for the presentation. So that's why it is the presentation layer in which we basically abstract the answer from the query processing. Means what query processing we have done, that is abstract, and it generates a report and the visualization for the business. That business that they consumes this data with this report for their analysis, for their company's growth, business growth. Okay, so thank you, all of you guys, to view this content. I'm just creating a lots of another videos on the data engineering, which helps you to support in your cracking the examinations, interviews, and certifications. So thank you for watching these videos. Please do comments if you have any questions or queries, so that I, based upon that, I just uh, improve the videos and just give you more usable videos on the data engineering.